High God, please block anybody trying to interfere with this reading. Do step in and deliver your messages to we, your children. Thank you. So let's see, what does God want to talk about today? Your wish is my command. Oh, I need to fix this. Let's see. You see it more clearly when there's a black background. Hang on. I'm in the process of crocheting Malika's shirt. That's it. I have a long way to go. But anyway, we wanted the black part. Most High God, please show us the general energy of those in the audience right now. Okay. So y'all are mostly calm, but you're like huffing and puffing. Why? Let's see mine. Most High God, please show us. Okay, wait. Okay. Most High God, please show us the general energy of myself right now. Interesting. So my energy is kind of up and down until I smiled or giggled. When I giggled, it just streamlined. I don't know. I'm 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 fine. So there's a little bit of a uh, shall I say discomfort, or was that anticipation? Is that what it is? Shall we do it again? Most High God, please show us the general energy of those in the audience right now, please. Are y'all trying to calm down? Okay, let's do me. Most High God, please show us the general energy of me at this time. Interesting. Mm. Somebody trying to mess with my energy. They're trying to infiltrate my energy to give me some false results. Because I'm not worried. So y'all are mostly okay. Well, the good news is, right? God don't bring me on here to deliver a message of condemnation. God brings me on here to deliver messages of redemption for those who actually want it. So it's like if you want the information, it's here. So even if it's something negative about yourself, you don't need to worry about it. You need to work on it, you know? Let go of guilt. Let go of I guess fear is a very hard one, but let go of your fears, let go of your worry, because God does not come to condemn, God comes to redeem. Those of you who were here for the Bible scripture that we were reading, it is John chapter 5, verses 1 to 43. Let me put this over here. The love of God is our saving grace, you know? If we understand how God loves and we try to mimic God's love, we'll be all right because we'll get things more right than not. So the first thing we need to do is understand how God loves. Okay? Because me, I'm full of God love. And that's why I'm virtually unstoppable. Well, not virtually. Ooh, I heard infinitely unstoppable. You see? Because if they can't hold me down with death, then what else can they do? Nothing. So all y'all have a chance at redemption too. You just have to overcome your fear. You have to put more trust in God. You know, there's nobody more powerful than God. There's no magician more magical than God. You know what I'm saying? There is no law that can outlaw God. You know, there's no hater that can overpower God. You know, so once you're rolling with God, you got God's protection. You got God's vote. You know, got your brethren and your sister. You know, we got Father, Mother, Father God, Mother God. We got masculine God energy and we got feminine God energy. So we need to remember that. Okay. I know this world has taught us to see God as a he, and it's a habit for us to speak of God in masculine terms, but God is actually feminine too. Okay. So we got God and Goddess. So there's no need to be afraid. It don't matter what wrong you've done in your past. God knows we are imperfect. Okay. That's why God sent examples on the earth for us to see a different way. So we could choose to go on being disorderly. We could choose to go on being unrighteous. When I say unrighteous, I mean like unright, meaning doing the wrong. If you want to, but if you want to choose to do the right, the option is there for you as well. You know, just know that people are gonna talk about you. Your friend circle, your family circle, your social circle is gonna shift. But also you have to know how to use that power of rightness. Okay? You have to learn to use the power of rightness, like the rest of us who experienced that quickening, as the Bible was telling us, the awakening. Once you awaken, you have to remember you're in this world that hasn't been awakened yet. You're still surrounded by many people who haven't had their awakening yet. So you're going to see the world differently. And at that time, it could seem like a lonely thing because it's like nobody really is seeing what you're seeing. Nobody really is believing what you're believing. Nobody really is validating you. Is no, there's no camaraderie, you know, so you just have to walk that walk alone. But when we take up our cross, quote unquote, we don't take up our cross and get people to help us. We have to help ourselves. Okay, we have to carry our cross ourselves. So whether we take up a bad cross or a good cross, we have to carry it ourselves. Just watch and you see. So even if you choose to do negativity, if you're going to go to jail for something that you did, it's only you going to jail. And even if somebody take the fall for you, you're still going to pay for whatever you did. Nature is always going to bring it full circle back around. So we take up our cross, be it a negative one to walk the negative path or a positive one to walk the positive path. It's both crosses. The shit is heavy, no matter which path we walk. It's heavy, but there are lots of lessons for us to learn if we're paying attention. And there are benefits on both pathways. Because when you do the wrong, life gonna beat you, and then you're gonna learn what not to do. When you do the right, life is going to reward you, and people are going to beat you. But generally, your rewards are going to outweigh any beatings that your surroundings give you. Okay? Yeah, following God is at first a lonely walk because there's not a lot of us that are doing it. Okay, so it's a lonely walk. If you're fortunate, you'll have at least one companion. God be giving us at least one if we need it. But sometimes it's just us and God. And it's okay either way, because if we don't need someone, then it's just us. And if we need someone, God provide us with a companion that we can bounce ideas off of, somebody to care for, somebody to care for us, and so on and so on. Right? So I don't know, man. Life is just made for living. It's better to do right than it is to do wrong. But if you do wrong, at least learn from the experience. Don't just let the experience go by and just keep doing the same thing over and over and not seeing the signs that life is been showing you. Okay, make sure you're seeing the signs. If you're going to do wrong, then you'll understand why it's important to do right. You understand? If you're not paying attention, you're going to keep missing the lessons that life is trying to teach you about wrongdoings, and you're going to keep doing the same stupid shit over and over and over and getting the same stupid results over and over. Short-lived happiness, instant gratification that don't last long. Ooh, don't live long. Yeah, after a while you won't be living long either. Okay? Because we need to acknowledge the fact that as well as there's a police system of the land, there's a police system of the spiritual realm. A lot of people don't pay attention to the police system of the spiritual realm, and that's where you keep messing up at. People choose to tell themselves that God is not real because it gives them a sense of peace to do their wrong. People choose to say karma isn't real because it gives them a sense of peace to continue doing wrong. But they're not doing themselves any favors, because whether you tell yourself karma or God is real or fake, the results are still going to be the same. Life is still going to teach you, you know? So, ain't nothing wrong with being somewhat bad, but just make sure when you're being bad, you're learning from the experience. Or else you're going to keep making the same stupid mistakes and getting the same stupid results for your entire lifespan. You only move forward when you do right. When you do right, doors open. It may not be the doors that you were imagining or that the world has taught us to envision opening, but doors open. You learn new skills, you learn new philosophies, you understand life more. These are forward movements, all these little things that you get by doing right and paying attention to the result of your actions, your self-discipline, keeping yourself from doing the wrong and forcing yourself to do the right. You learn things and you see things, and these are your blessings, because see yourself as like a computer hard drive. The more you experience and pay attention to, is the more data that you collect on your hard drive. So basically, it's like the more upgraded you're going to be. Do you understand? So, yeah, life is meant to be paid attention to, whether you want to do wrong or right, whether you want to be bad or good, whether you want to do evil or you want to do good, whether you want to hate or you want to love. Life is meant to be lived. Do you? But learn. Make sure that you're learning, or else it's all for nothing. Store the information, whether in books or in your mind. Okay? So that you can reference them, so that you could use this information to make movies, write books, write plays. Because what makes a good movie good is when we can relate it to real life and see the sense in it. Okay? That's what makes a good movie good. So these life experiences that you're having, whether you chose to walk the path of darkness or you chose to walk the path of light. Battery. Yeah, whether you chose to walk the path of darkness or you chose to walk the path of light, you can always turn. Well, if you walk the path of light, you could turn your lessons into messages and make money off of them. Produce something. And if you walk the darkness, you know a side of life that we don't know. So whatever you produce is going to come from a perspective that most of the world are not in tune with. So your insight that you gather on your bad boy, bad gal walk is very important, is very valuable. Because although a lot of people choose to be naughty, certain people don't cross certain borderlines, but some people do. So those who do go far into the darkness, you get to experience experiences that the majority of people never do. With the same with those who follow the light. Some people do good, but some people, there's a certain level of good that they just don't do. But those of us who choose to walk far into the light, we experience experiences and therefore learn things that the majority may never know unless we tell them, or unless they walk that walk themselves. So it's like alchemy. We're interacting with life, we're interacting with creation. So the question is, how did creation respond to your interaction? Because for me, I chose to walk in the light. And now I'm so deep in the light. So many people want my head. So many people want to ruin me. So many people from the dark side, they want to stop me and make me miserable and blah, 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 right? But here comes all these angels and all these peoples from I don't even fucking know where, protecting me, risking their life for me, because I chose to stay on that path and get deep, deep, deep into the light. So what more is there for me to discover? Shit, I didn't expect to have all this camaraderie. It was just me at first, and then God came along like, hey, you forgot about me. So I was like, okay, it's me and God doing this walk. I don't care against the government, against the world. I don't care, because I'm not doing anything wrong. That was my strength for a long time. The fact that I'm not doing anything wrong. So why are you bullying me? So I'm gonna keep doing the right, and I'm gonna keep doing the right, and I'm gonna keep doing the right. And then I realized all these other things. If you watch my previous videos, you see how the story developed and the experiences that I had and all these things. And most recently, because I need to go to the dentist, and all these vigilante groups and Antarctica. Shout out to Aya and Anubis. A whole bunch of protectors just came out of like basically nowhere. I kind of knew they were there, but it's in the back of my mind. But it's like these people are active. I was like, yeah, I feel special. But it's only because I chose to stick with the light. See, if I had chosen to be wishy-washy about my rightness, then they would be wishy-washy with supporting me too. Because it's like, shit, I don't know what you stand for. And they would be right. But me, I chose to keep walking in the light, come what may. I made up my mind from the beginning to keep walking in the light, come what may. But you can only do that when you have, well, at first it was just righteousness. That was my foundation, to be honest with you, because I didn't know that God would go so hard for me. I didn't understand God. When I started this journey, I didn't understand God's role in me being attacked by these people. It's over time, as I interacted with life from my right perspective, in spite of the challenges that surrounded me, that I realized, yeah, man, God really come true. God really do come true for us, for me, well, for Malika too, so it's us. But at first, all I had to stand on was the fact that I'm not doing anything wrong. So it's in a sense, it's like I challenged life. By standing in my rightness, I challenged life. It's like something's gonna have to save me. Right around that time, I started saying a saying. I don't even know where I got it from, but a phrase of mine that used to keep popping up is sometimes you have to jump in the water even though you know you can't swim. Who does that? Me. Because if that's my safest bet, then that's where the word miracle comes from. Because I mean, there's nowhere else to go. It's, clearly, I'm surrounded by danger. So the only way to go is forward. And what's forward? Fucking water, and I can't swim. So it's like shit. Well, I definitely not going back there. So I don't want to be around those people. Those people are not safe. So surely the water must be safer. And it got so serious for me that in the struggle, I had a dream about being in the water, surrounded by sharks and stingrays and like piranhas and all type of vicious sea creatures. And Haile Selassie came in under the water, picked me out the water, put me on the boardwalk, smiled at me, and walked away. So I didn't even know that I was prophesying about my life when I was saying about sometimes you gotta jump in the water even though you know you can't swim. But it's a philosophy that I took on just before all the attacks started. And it's a principle that I live by. Because how do you experience a miracle if you can do everything yourself? You only experience a miracle when you overcome something that you couldn't do. So you know it's another energy that did it for you. You understand? So that's how you know a miracle has been performed in your life. So right now, all these people that are hunting me down for so long, some of them have to stop and think to themselves, yo, this is really a miracle, baby. This girl, you're not normal. No, she's not. Because as hard as you gonna go for the darkness, that's how hard I'm gonna go for the light. Because I love what I love and you love what you love. We are like polar opposites, and that's okay. You make my life interesting, I make your life interesting. Until you get on my last nerve, which you kind of are, because I got things to do. But I can't stop you. You're going to have to stop yourself. Well, God is waiting on y'all to stop yourselves. But I don't think that y'all get that. Y'all think that when you do wickedness, it is and you don't see anything happen as punishment for doing wickedness to someone, y'all assume that it must be okay. It's not okay. You're just not paying attention. Because with that chapter, John 5, verse 1 to 43, in the story, this man was sick for 38 years with an infirmary whereby he was trapped in his own body, so he couldn't walk. He was like an invalid. He couldn't walk. And after Jesus released him by telling him, take up your bed and walk, it's the first time that he walked and walked properly in 38 years. Then Jesus told him, go and sin no more unless something worse happened to you. So, saying that to say, when you're doing dark things, when you're doing wrong to yourself and to others, there's a price to pay. There's a punishment that is inflicted on you. So, if you catch a cold, you tend not to associate this cold with some wrong that you've done. If you catch a STD, you tend not to associate. My connection is moving slow. But if you catch an STD, you tend to associate the STD with something that you've done, but they're connected. If you burn yourself on the stove, you tend not to associate it with something that you've done, but it's connected. If you lose some money, you tend not to associate it with something that you've done, but it's connected. If you experience kidney failure, if you experience my moving real slow. They don't want me to tell y'all this, but I'm gonna keep telling y'all anyway. So if you're sick with like kidney failure or multiple sclerosis or I don't really believe in like dementia. I think that dementia is something that old people do to kind of try and forget all the evil that they did in the past to bring themselves some kind of peace. I could be wrong, but I think that they made up that one, dementia. I think that they be pretending not to remember, because if they don't remember, then their children can't come question them about things from the past. You know, them parts where you grow up and you start to question your parents about things that happened in the past. And some of them some of them will answer you, but some of them they don't want to have those conversations because it's hard to reflect on how negative they were at that point in their youth. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like dementia, they be pretending. I could be wrong, but I really believe that some of them definitely be pretending, because how do you get to that age and you have no memory? Where your memory go? Where'd your memory go? And it's only for certain things. It's like they will say the memory go and the memory come. But anyway, I'm getting pulled off of what I was talking about. But I don't really trust that dementia illness. But when you get sick, or when you have an accident, or when somebody around you gets hurt, we tend, or you tend not to relate it to anything that you've done, when it very much is a direct result of something that you've done. But because you have not tried to read the signs that life has been showing you, you miss it. You keep missing it. So then you keep doing the same thing, and your life keep going downhill, or somebody that you love keep suffering and their sufferation hurt you. So God know exactly how to get us. God know exactly how to punish us when we break the rules. First, it's like it starts in your mind. There's something in your mind that tell you you're wrong. So it starts with conscience. The conscience will say, that's not good. You shouldn't have done that type of energy, right? And then if you don't listen to your conscience, because some people are fantastic at blocking out their conscience, then God make other things start to happen. How exactly does that happen? Only somebody who walks in the darkness can really give us insight into how that happened. But if they're paying attention, they'll see the signs, you know? And sometimes it's good to be bad. You know what I mean? So to take away somebody's right to be bad, it kind of take away the joy from their life. So personally, I don't believe in taking their rights away to be bad. I mean, if you want to be bad, be bad. But don't try come at me when my comeback knock you and your badness off the face of the earth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to be bad, because it's your pleasure. It's the gift of life is yours to live as you please, but there are consequences for your actions too. So if I'm going to allow you to be bad, you have no choice but to allow me to be good and respond to your badness how I see is most fit. Or for God to respond to you, because I could block you out. That's my response to you, but God's response to you is going to be different because you committed a crime. So it's like, I won't do the policing, but God will. So there's no escape. Okay? So, I mean, I respect people who choose to be bad. I ain't got no problem with y'all. But I'm not going to be your punching bag. I'm not going to be your target, your moving target. Shit, you going to become the target. I'm not going to be your prey. You going to become my prey if you catch me on the wrong day. Okay? And if you don't become my prey, you going to be God's prey. So, you see all these people who want to protect me, they get work to do. Because they like that gory shit. They don't mind the mind games and the gore and the combat and the manipulation. They they about that life. Me, that's not my thing. I only deal with that part of life if I have to. But there are people that's gonna make you suffer for trying me. Because I'm not about you harassing me either. Okay? But I mean, I can't control how you think or what you choose to do. So I just have to be open to the idea that you may attack me. Because that's what you felt like doing. And you have to be open to the idea that I just might bite back. Because that's what I felt like doing. You know? So yeah, let's try and stop being nervous when I come on to do videos, because I've come to bring y'all messages of redemption. Okay, and that's the truth. I come to bring. It's tough to hear. It's tough to hear, but if you're gonna choose to be bad, then at least stand in your badness like a man or like a woman in it. Admit to yourself. and you'll be all right because you'll know where to go from there. But you see, when you want to be bad and you want to act like you're a good person, then my words are going to hit you different because you're trying to pretend. The words are going to try penetrate you, but you're trying to fight them rather than just receiving it and being like, it's true, I am kind of dark, you know. It was unfair how I treated XYZ. But I'm gonna tell y'all something about the darkness. Don't accumulate too much dark karma. It's like, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Okay? Because when that shit come back, you on the other side is like holding a gun to someone and then them pointing the gun at you. Those invoke two different feelings. That encourages two different thought processes. It's just a whole different vibe. And just know that the way that spiritual law is set up, in order to get us to learn, is set up that what you send out will come back to you. It's not if, it's when. Okay? Just take a moment to look back at your life so far, because hindsight is 2020. You can see clearly once things have been said and done. So take a pause from your life right now and look back and see how life had been responding to your interaction with it. And sometimes this karma, it be in spurts, but sometimes the big bang, it take like sometimes 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. So people be getting comfortable forgetting that they were very naughty in the past. And then when the shit come back, when the seeds that you planted have come to full fruition and it's time to reap, it take a moment for you to remember, oh shit, I did do some dumb shit like this, like when I was like 14, 15, 10 years old. Oh, it comes back. It comes back. Even when I was 4 years old, I did that stupid thing where I was telling the little girl to eat poison. And look at me now. I live a life where I'm getting poisoned every day. God is poisoning me on behalf of Angela. So even though the enemies are doing what they do and they're doing what they do for their reason, I can relate me being poisoned on a regular basis to the crime that I committed when I was 4 years old, going to preschool against Angela, because there was a voice inside of me at 4 years old telling me that poison is bad, it's wrong. And I didn't listen to it. I didn't listen to it. I wanted to fit in with the children that were encouraging me to get her to eat it. So it was some other children. That's why I know this secret society been after me since I was a baby, you know. Because from they stole me from my mother, they knew who I was. And they gave me to Venerine to raise. So obviously they knew who I was. Imagine these same children that I was trying to impress by trying to encourage the girl to eat the little berries that were thought to be poisonous. These same little boys decided at the same age 4 and 5, we were probably about 6 at that age, they're gonna gang rape me. 6-year-olds surrounded me by the same school telling me that they're gonna gang rape me. Where did you learn that from, you 6-year-old boy? Alain Cabral, Melford Ryan, Dominic Lee. But these were all high society children. So you know high society is always part of the inside group. So they taught their children to be like that. Because where does a 6-year-old come from? And this was in 1986, because I was born in 1980. So this was in 1986. There was no internet at that time. If you wanted to watch anything like that, it would have to be like on a video or some kind of information that you got from somebody. So where did these little boys, and there are probably about 6 or 7 of them. I just don't want to call no names of anybody that I'm not quite sure was there. They're lucky I don't remember now. But Alain Cabral stand out strong. And I was surprised at Melford. And Dominic always been a kind of dummy. Just a big dummy. But I'm saying all that to say, the shit that we do, that's why it's good to train your children in the right way, because it don't matter how old we are, we gonna pay for our sins. "4 years old, I committed that crime because these other children were encouraging me to encourage Angela to eat the little purple fruit that's said to be poison. And I did it. Even though there was a little voice inside of me telling me not to do it. It's a bad thing. I did it anyway. And these poisonings, they only started happening to me since these people started to do what they do in 2008. So imagine from 1986, I didn't suffer any karma for doing that shit. 86, 96, 2006, 7, 8. So that's 22 years before my karma for doing that kick in. When I was 4 years old, I committed the crime. Are y'all hearing me? This is the gospel according to Chanel. This is my scripture in the Bible. This is my interaction with life and nature and God and other people that I'm telling you about. This is my life experience. God avenged Angela. Or God avenged me on Angela's behalf. So Angela, if you're out there and you're hearing me, trust me, I suffered the karma for doing that. That was evil of me, and I apologize sincerely. So it's important even at 4 years old for us to give our children the kind of mental strength, the mental encouragement to listen to that little voice inside their head. I didn't have nobody to try, and I didn't have nobody to help me. Only Dinah used to take us to church. So I had some idea of between like good and evil. And whatever information I came in from my last life with. Because I am reincarnated. So there are certain things that were in my database naturally. That's probably how I knew that poison was bad, because there was nobody around me talking about poisons. But something inside of me told me that poison is bad. Nobody explained to me that poison is going to kill you, but I innately knew that poison can kill. So I came from my last life with that knowledge. So, like I said, look back. You want to walk on the dark side? Do it at your own risk. But like I said, it took 22 years for that karma to catch up with me. So even though these people are evil, in a way, they did the work of God. And it's like they did enough, so now this is why God saves me from their continued poisoning. Because it's like God used that situation to bring karma to me for what I did to Angela. So God used the government situation to bring karma to me for what I did to Angela. 22 years after. And I've been going through this for 18 years. That's like serving a fucking jail sentence, bro. 18 years of getting poisoned. So when I was in Montserrat and I was doing people here and that horrible smell was coming from my armpits, that's one of the things that they did to ruin my hair business. I don't know what kind of smell that was. I've never smelled that, but I guess that was Ceylon handiwork. But however I ingested it, it must be something that I was drinking or eating. Them times I definitely didn't know that I was being, and this was before 2008. So these people were after me long time. Because I opened my business in 2001. So in 2001, I guess they had Ceylon or whoever making them their little potions to do shit to me. And one of them was to make my armpits really stink. And I was washing it out my shirt and it wouldn't even come out. When I was doing client here, probably about 1 or 2 clients, the smell just creep up. I had to like leave the client and go change my shirt and clean my armpits and come back with something clean. This is how these people been doing me. This is how they ruined my business in Montserrat. Because it's like, what kind of smell is that coming from this girl? And then they had these other potions where they made me get some white blotches all over my face. It's basically poison. So my sentence came much longer. So like 2001, so you could say 18 plus 8, 8 and 8 is 16. So that's 26 years. 26 years sentence. So far. I did it to her one time. I did what I did to Angela one time. And I had to endure 26 years of the same crime that I committed against Angela. The man in the story in the book of John, he was suffering for 38 years. So walk the dark side if you want to, but know when to quit. Because I committed one crime and I'm paying for it 26 years and counting. So imagine what's going to happen to these people that's been doing what they have been doing to me. Unjustly. Because if I did something to Angela one time, then you would think that my punishment wouldn't be so severe, taking into account the fact that I was 4 years old, taking into account the fact that I had no teachers to really put it in my head that it was wrong. I just heard that soft voice. That's God. I just heard that soft voice saying, don't do it. That's bad. So I was hearing from God even at age 4. But I wasn't conscious of the fact that that's what was happening. Because, like I said, before our awakening, before our quickening, we're on autopilot, just being who we are. And then when we have our quickening, then we become more active in our choices, become more conscious. So if I was getting punished for doing what I did to Angela, I believe that a just judge would take into account the fact that I was 4 years old. I do deserve to be punished, don't get me wrong. But even if these idiots think that what they're doing is justified because of what I did, that sentence has been served a long time ago. So that means they overstepped the boundaries of karma on Angela's behalf. And now they have been committing crimes against me for years. So imagine what their karma is going to be like. And at 4 years old, and take into account the fact that these people that I grew up around had no desire to give me any kind of moral teachings. So I would have been bound to commit many crimes, but it wasn't in my nature to do so. Nicole was a thief, and one time I went to go steal some cake with her. And I don't even remember if I had some of the cake, but it wasn't something that appealed to me. So that takes me back to our hardware. We are a computer. And our life experiences, we add or we take away from our data. So throughout our life, we're basically building our computer. So the more we learn, the better our computer. And then we can stop committing crimes and put that shit on paper. So we can make paper. Use that devil energy and express it in a way where it's harmless. It's entertainment rather than you constructing someone's life with it or deconstructing someone's life with it. You know what I'm saying? Put that shit in fantasy. Dark energy is better used or expressed in fantasy. That way you're not committing no real crimes. It's just the mind can do all the imagining itself. But when you want to do that shit for real, that's a crime. But God made good and evil and saw that it was good. It's perfect. How will you know joy if you never know sorrow? And saying that, I have to say, God don't need any help from anybody to make anybody's life challenging. Life itself is challenging enough. Nature itself knows how to make our life perfectly challenging for us. Everybody got their own problems. Even if nobody create problem for you. Just the fact that our computers are incomplete and will always be incomplete, we're always going to be posed with problems, especially when you want to have like children, when you want to have boyfriend or girlfriend, when you want to be at a job. It's thinking all day, problem solving all day, dealing with other people's emotions, helping other people grow, helping other people to understand you. So we don't need the extra outside torment to add any challenges to our already challenging life. We got shit to really study. You know what I'm saying? So all of you who like to try and deconstruct people's life because you're jealous of them and all that stupid shit, just know you're gonna pay for that. The sooner you stop, the less you pay for that. God don't play. So you can fool yourself into telling yourself that God is not real all you want to. It's not gonna make it any different. You can fool yourself into telling yourself that karma is not real all you want to. It's not gonna make life deal with you any different. Shit, when you believe, you believe. So life is basically saying, fuck you and what you believe. This is what is. Yeah. You don't run this shit. You came here. You were granted the gift of being here. You're going to know how to conduct yourself here, or you get fucked up. You act up, get fucked up. Simple. If you don't want to be here, then say you don't want to be here. But if you continue to make other people's life here miserable, yours will also be made to be very miserable. And I hope that when that time comes, you remember how miserable you were trying to make other people's lives because you were jealous or you wanted something that they had or whatever the fuck stupid excuse you gave yourself to do evil to someone else. Especially to innocent people who are only working hard trying to get what life has for them. Innocent people who do not infringe on other people's territory. Innocent people who don't wish other people bad. They mind their business and they build themselves. And when they do mind other people's business, they're wishing them well. God will avenge. God will avenge every evil person on our behalf. I just heard Selah. All right, we've got mail. Let's see if these are meant to be interpreted. Okay, so these are meant to be interpreted in the reverse. So we got 3,000 in the reverse. And we got 120 in the reverse. And we got living grand. So these are all like minuses. It's like something that you think is valuable is not. For wanting to live grand. Living grand means how you go about, this could be talking about how, let's see what's at the bottom of the deck, but I believe that it's based on what we were talking about. So it's like how you go about getting what you're getting, what you think is a great idea. In the upright, it would be a great idea. Sorry, this way. But it's actually in the reverse. What we do for living grand. So living grand also include the satisfaction that we get from bringing down somebody that we're jealous of. That's also living grand. It make you feel big. It make you feel good, innit? So it could talk about your riches. It could talk about your possessions. It could talk about being full of friends. It could talk about emotional fulfillment for doing things in the reverse. So let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we got Caribbean. Is this a Montserrat reading? Was this message for the Montserrat posse? Those who fought against me and keep on fighting against me, I do believe so. Yeah, so we got Caribbean. Thug life. Yep, it's y'all. So Montserrat, and anybody else who can benefit from this message. But this one is straight up for Montserrat, I heard. Okay? Because that's where the judgment started for me. They stole me from my parent, only God knows where. I don't know where my mother come from. I don't know who my real mother is. But they stole me from her, and I grew up in Montserrat in the Caribbean. And I realized that I was around a whole bunch of people who thought they were thugs. They've been after me since, because remember the story I was telling you, since I was 4 years old, you know. So they stole me from my mother when I was a baby. And I committed the crime against Angela when I was 4 years old. And I was influenced by some other children who were most likely influenced by their parents. Some kind of adults in their life told them to come to me and ask me, at least one of them. And then that one probably encouraged the others to join in. I don't know how exactly they do it. They can tell you how they did it. And then when they came back to me talking about they're going to gang rape me, somebody encouraged them or influenced them to come to me with that type of behavior. Thug life. Shit ain't normal. And now I'm here being able to call these people's children's name. Melford was actually just kind of standing off. But Alain Cabral, he was on it. And Dominic. They look like the two leading ones, mostly Alain. You see? How much years has it been and now your name I get called? Alain Cabral and Dominic Lee. Didn't think that you would have to answer to these things, huh? I imagine you'll be getting phone calls soon where people want to know why Chanel call your name attack these things. Yeah, explain. Tell them. Or did I just make it all up? Is it all a fabrication? Was I dreaming? How did I respond when y'all did that? I just walked away. I was a gangster from then. The same way I do these big people now, trying to intimidate me. I just walk away, bro. Fuck you. Y'all can't intimidate me. So you should tell them, even when I was a little girl and y'all tried that shit on me, I was not moved. Tell them. I've always been quiet, but I've always been a gangster. I've always been quiet. I've always been a loner, but I've always been one that you can't fuck with. David Brandt. Tell them about how y'all used to go around the school and slap y'all on them body and whatnot, and you tried that shit. I don't remember if you tried that shit, but I remember you probably saying something like, yeah, no, we're not going to try Chanel with that. Yeah, you're right. I've always been this type of girl. Y'all need to tell the people them the truth. I've never been a walkover. I've never been a pushover. I've never been a doormat, even as a little child. I don't know about that life. I'm a real thug. Because I thug for justice. Bullying has never been something that I've been friendly with or about. Bully who? So, Montserrat, this one's for you. And anybody else who can benefit from the message, please learn from our testimony. Please learn from our mistakes. Don't make the same stupid mistakes that we made. Okay? Because whoever taught Alain and them to come and threaten me with gang rape, shit, they gonna have to answer. Now they gonna see in their adult life, they're gonna see what a bad influence that person was to them. They know who sent them. And who told them to tell me to get Angela to eat that little poison, that's thought to be poisonous berry. It wasn't poisonous. But I believe that it was. Who sent them to encourage me, to encourage Angela to do that? That person was a horrible influence in the lives of y'all as young children. 3 and 4 years old, 5 and 6 years old. Look back at your elders, Alain and Dominic. And I'm not sure where Melford standing at this year, but Melford could have looked like he was a tag along. So let's see. You got accent. So accent basically is the way that you talk based on your environment. We got boring life. So Caribbean, thug life, accent. That's how they were taught. They were all taught to be thugs by their elders. So the children didn't even have a chance. They surrounded us with this negativity from with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. They surrounded us with this negativity. So we didn't even have a chance. Instead of teaching us the right, these elders taught us the wrong. So the question is, who told that elder to tell these children to come at me like that? Follow the trail. So anyway, let's read on. We got boring life, DNA manipulation. So life was too simple. Life was too simple for me, so they thought, oh, let's shake it up a little bit. You definitely did. But I didn't ask you to help me shake up my life any at all. I'm quite happy with my quote unquote boring life. Because you were trying to change my moral code. And y'all tried to change the children, Alain and their moral code. So how did Alain Cabral grow up? Like, where are they now? What's their lives like now? What's Dominic's life like right now with the type of influences that we were, I don't know if we were fortunate or unfortunate to experience? Excuse me. Where's Melford now? What are these people doing now? What's their life like? What did life do with them? The choices that they made based on the influences that they had in their life. What is their life like right now? So yeah, they basically, because the people, the elders were bored, they decided to manipulate us, the children, to try and basically brainwash us. They tried to turn me into a bad person. And they tried to turn Alain and Dominic and them into bad children as well. Because we were too good. So we got digital ID and new job. Fake certificate. So digital ID in here. So what is digital ID? It's basically the computer again. So that takes us back. We are a computer. So our computer making us a new being. So like I said, what happened to Alain and Dominic and whoever else was there in that little clan? Alain and Dominic can tell y'all who else was there talking about they gonna gang rape me. But it's a fake. So they turned us into people that, well, they were trying to turn us into people that we are not. They were trying to manipulate our computer so that we can be who we are not. changed religion. Woohoo! What we got come next? Karma. What happened to these young men? Because if I got punished for the wicked thing that I did to Angela, they surely got punished too. And the same way that it didn't matter that they were influencing me to do the wrong and I decided to do the wrong, it's the same way it wouldn't matter that they were influenced to do the wrong by somebody else because they did it. So you see, we have to take accountability. No matter who give us the suggestion, once we choose to do it, it's our responsibility, bruv. It's on our record, our karmic record. So if you're paying attention to life, you will stop blaming people for leading you down the wrong road because you did not have to take their advice. Take accountability for your choice. Yes, your mother told you to do this. And yes, they might have kicked you out the house. Or yes, somebody made you do this because they were holding a gun at your head, but you did it. It would have been better that you take kicking out the house. It would have been better that you took the gunshot. That's how serious life is. God don't want no excuses. Choose the right, come what may. Take up your cross and walk with me. Don't be afraid. Let your faith outdo your fears. Because whatever you fear control you. Then you can never win at life. Because people only need to know what button to push on you. And they pull you right off your track after you've done all that hard work. That's how you win at life. You have to choose the right, come what may, bruv. It's no joke. So you have to risk not being included in that group. You have to risk getting a gunshot. You have to risk getting knifed if you want to win. Fear not. Life is serious, bro. Life is serious. And people who walk the path of rightness or righteousness, we are G's for real. We the real gangsters out here. We the real gangsters out here. Because when we stand, we don't stand for nonsense. We stand for shit that means something. We stand up and defend our own honor, bruv. Against any and every terrorist. Domestic and how do the United States just say? Domestic and foreign. We stand firm. So your mother can't control you, your father can't control you, not when they're opposing doing the right thing. We don't want to hear it. That's how you be a real G in life. Fucker getting thrown out. So many people have experienced homelessness, but you don't know what treasures you're gonna find. Because for you to stand up for yourself like that, God got something better for you. You will be rewarded. But you don't know that because you never found the courage to take being thrown out into the cold. You just think, oh my God, it's so cold outside. And you compromise. You compromise your moral code because it's cold outside. You're gonna have to spend a few cold nights or maybe a month or two or whatever roughing it like a real soldier. Shame. You basically sold your destiny because of shame. Because if you don't be true about who you are, you'll never reach your true destiny. Reaching your full destiny comes from you choosing to follow your path, come what may, in every circumstance. Are you understanding? No disrespect to anybody, but don't try clown me either, because the people that be trying to control us, they know that they're trying to control us. So if you're a young girl and your parent is trying to force you into prostitution, saying, oh, you need to pay your way, and you don't want to, and because you don't want to, she gonna throw you out the house. It's better that you allow yourself to be thrown out the house, or else what's the alternative? You're gonna be doing that lifestyle and that's not what you're into. You're not gonna be happy with yourself, but you did it. You need to take accountability for it. So if people call you a whore, then you're a whore. Even though you were afraid to get kicked out the house, shit, you did it. So when people call you those derogatory terms, or if you pick up a STD, it's like you chose an STD over getting kicked out your house. You chose being called a whore instead of being kicked out your house. You chose. This is why we have to be true to ourselves, bro. Sometimes God is trying to guide us, but you can't, if you're not being true to what you see as honorable, then you've derailed. You've gone off course from where God is trying to take you. When I started locking my hair, when I started growing my dreadlocks, Venerine told me either comb them out or get out. I got out the house, bruv, and I didn't know where I was going to live. And I ended up living at one of my brother's girlfriend's house. Who is this brother? This is the brother that was molesting me for a few years when I was a child. I lived at one of his girlfriend's house. I didn't know where I was gonna go, and I was in college at the time, so I didn't know how I was gonna finish college, but that shit didn't matter to me. I am a Rastafarian, and I stood up for my Rasta-ness. You don't tell me comb my hair out, because for them it's a hairstyle. For me, that's my religion. It's related to the God that I serve. You don't tell me to comb my dreadlocks out and think that I'm gonna comb them out for you. Think I care about how people see me? Because dreadlocks at that time were being seen, like in 1998. Dreadlocks were being seen as like dirty and disgusting, and people look down on people with dreadlocks and whatnot. And I was like, I don't care. So I moved out. I bet you they didn't expect that one. And I didn't know where I was gonna go. But I called him up. And he provided, and she even moved. So I don't know where she was living. But she left me in the apartment by myself. And he, the same brother that was violating me, he provided me with the funds I needed, because I wasn't making any money of my own. I didn't have no job. I didn't have no access to money. So he gave me money, just enough money for me to like go to college and come back and have money to cook, to buy food, and I had to train myself to cook and all these things. So look at that. Look at where I ran. I ran from the frying pan into the fire, if my mind was to allow me to think about the situation in that way. Because I remember what the history was with me and this dude. And yet still I chose to leave the house because I don't want to comb out my dreadlocks and go to a place that is basically governed by this man that used to molest me as a young girl and his girlfriend. You see the type of choices that life be offering us sometimes? And I was happy. I thought she would be there. And she wasn't even there. I was basically given the apartment. Nobody charged me anything for rent. Nobody charged me anything for using the light. I had gas. I had hot water. I had everything. And a whole apartment to myself. But if I was thinking negatively, or if I decided that I was going to comb out my dreadlocks because I didn't know where I was going to go, then my fortune would have been very different. By me being on my own, it gave me the opportunity to create my own persona, my computer. I had no influences around me and nobody there to wake me up and tell me go to college or anything like that. And I did it because I was always a responsible young woman. So I woke up, and this I was going to college in Watford, West Hearts, Casio campus, and I was living in, I think the apartment was in Whitechapel. That's where the apartment was. So I had to travel from there to Watford to go to hairdressing college. Couple times a week. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 times a week. And I finished my college course before many of the students on the course. Because I was always responsible. So what does my hair have to do with anything? You want to make me that type of ultimatum? I'll make you regret it. Because now how you go and get a chance to try and encourage me to be a whore? Because she was trying to make a whore out of me. I think she was using this man Raymond. She was probably taking money from Raymond behind my back. Raymond raped me twice. He felt entitled to my pum pum. Anyway, so yeah, so whatever we did in the past, yeah, karma visits us, okay? It don't matter if it take 15, 20, 25, 30, 45 years, it's gonna come back. Then we have learned life lessons. So this is saying we need to look back. To really understand life, look back. So even if you choose to walk in the darkness and you think that karma isn't real, look back at your life, where you're coming from, and look at where it took you. It matters. Our choices direct our life. Choices and consequences. Or choices and rewards when we make positive choices. So it's always better to follow the right. It's always better to follow righteousness. It's always better to follow the light. It's always better to employ and express and accept love. Real love, not fake love. We got age 81 to 100 years. And then that's followed by God. That's why these are the dementia ages, isn't it? By then, they have been manipulated and manipulating so many people. So much so that by the time karma start to hit them and they start to see the error of their ways at this age, is like, shit, I've done things that I prefer not talk about, so I'm just gonna pretend like I don't remember anything. Yeah, because God stepped in, that time regarding their reputation. It's like if I tell you what I've done, and if I tell you who I was when I was younger or the things I did, you won't like me anymore. So some people just choose to pretend. Yeah, pretend. Meat suit, mask and or bodysuit. They choose to pretend. They choose to pretend they're 1,000 years old. It's like, I'm so old, I don't remember anything. Who are you again? I'm your grandson. She knows who you are. He knows who you are. But there's a lot of things that they don't want you to know. They don't want you to, because you've reached that age now where you start to hold them accountable. You've reached that age now where you see the error of your ways. You reach that age now where you see the bullshit that your parents or your guardians, your elders, the influences in your life told you, which at the time you believed that that shit was real and it was good and you were on it. But then you grew up, you experienced some other things, and life taught you what the real is. And you had some questions for the people who were misguiding you. It's like you want them to take some accountability for the lack of correct guidance. But now they're just pretending like, oh, what are you talking about? Who are you again? How old are you again? Oh, which one is that again? Yeah, that's to shut down all conversations where they need to take accountability. They're trying to save what's left of their reputation. But that's very cowardly. To all elders who do this shit, I say that's very cowardly. How are you expected to grow? You want to be seen as a saint instead of actually being a saint? Did you even change? Would you still do the shit that you're so embarrassed to talk about in your old age? Did you learn your life lessons? You think you're safe if nobody knows but what? This is the one you should be hiding from, because this is the one who executes karma. You can't hide from this one. That's the police. All this accountability that you're trying to dodge. You don't want to answer to the young children, the youngers that you misguided. You're going to have to answer to this one though. You have to answer to your conscience. There's going to come a time when this one is going to lock off all possibility for you to avoid the issue or the issues. Just know that. So enjoy pretending not to remember anything. Enjoy pretending not to remember where you live or how to put on a kettle to boil some tea or all them things. Enjoy pretending, because God know you're lying. You know exactly what is happening. You just have a lot of demons in your closet that you don't want nobody to know are there. God know. And to the young people who are looking for answers from your elders who misguided you, you don't need those answers. If you learned the life lessons, you suffered your karma because, like I said, you did make that choice. Even though they misguided you, you took their advice. And it didn't end you up in a place that you liked. But you took their advice because you were afraid of the alternative. Whatever it might have been, you took their advice. Take accountability for the role you played in what your life is like now. Okay? Just accept it. Don't be like your elders and fucking try to run away. Fuck all that shit. That's some weak ass shit. Just take accountability and learn your life lessons. Fucking write movies. Use your mess, turn it into a message and make some moolah. How about that? That's your gift. For being misguided. So if you were misguided, use your mess, make it into a message and make some money after that. You see me? You learned your lessons. They have to deal with God. They haven't escaped their karma, so you don't need to live your life being upset about how they misguided you. God got that. Believe that. God got that. Because they can't live with themselves. That's why they pretend to have dementia, loss of memory. I'm sorry to break this news to y'all right now, but the world that we live in, it was set in this negative way. A lot of people fell into the trap because life was boring or maybe it was too hard, so they didn't mind manipulating their circumstances because they think nobody would know. But they didn't know that karma catches up with them in the future. All the children that were molested when they were little and they said nothing, they grow up. And then when they start to talk the stories about what their childhood was like, we can't believe you were going through that. And then they start telling you how they were told, don't say nothing, no, else I'm going to kill you or I'm going to hurt somebody else or whatever. These are the things that life has been hard for every fucking body in different ways. Your mission is to manage your hardship and overcome them. You see me? And just know that anybody who put you on the wrong path, anybody who made your life miserable, their karma is coming or it has come. Like I said, sometimes it takes 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 81 years, 100 years. It's coming. And God is so cheeky. God will keep people alive. You're 121 and you just won't die even though you want to. Why? Because your work here is not done. Your case here is not done. Whether it's for consequence or for rewards, God ain't finished with you. So you can't finish with life. Yo. God is a just God. Of that we are sure. Okay? So make sure we plant good seeds. We're going to reap what? Good fruit. And when you have your children, please give them the best possible start in life. Let's not be like our wayward, stiff-necked, lying, thieving, demonic, wicked elders. Let's not be like them. Because they're not going to end up in a good state. Their future is not bright. And most people, when they're going through karma, the first thing they do is hide that shit. So they make it look like there's not a price to pay for walking in darkness and trying to darken other people's path, whether directly or indirectly, whether knowingly or unknowingly, whether deliberately or undeliberately. There's a price to pay, man. Everything that we do in life, action and reaction, cause and effect, choices and consequences, or choices and rewards. Pay attention in school. just to let y'all know. So these elders, 81 to 100 years old, now the time come where you're grown man or you're grown woman and you got some questions to ask them about your upbringing as a youth and thing. They try to go on like say, I don't remember. Who are you again? What's your name again? But God said their reputation is fucked, so they're putting on a mask. Because they did so much terrible things in the past, right? They're acting like they're not 100 but 1,000 years old. They're just so old. Everything is just so old and decrepit. Even their memory don't work good. So they want you to believe, right? So God is saying from age 11 to 20 years, they've been acting like they're 10,000. So it's like growing up fast. You see? So they got a ill start in life too. So that's another thing that we have to highlight. Your elders may have trained you up doing some bad things when you were young, but their elders did the same thing to them. So to sit down and listen to their stories, maybe some of their dementia, they take on to act like they don't remember what happened to them as a little girl or as a little boy. You understand what I'm saying? That's clearly what they call generational curse. Well, we're here to break those curses. We're here to break those chains, please. Okay? Yeah. So they had like a fake passport. Cause your passport tell when you were born and your age, like a fake ID in it. So it's like these children didn't have the chance to be children. Their parents or whoever was in charge of them, they were mistreated too. It's time for breakfast, y'all. Yeah, look, 11 to 20 years, they were looking like they were 41 to 60 years. Big woman, big man thing. I've heard some terrible stories, bruv. I know y'all have too, of what some parents do with children. Your own parents that are supposed to be protecting you. Your own uncle and auntie, grandma and grandpa that are supposed to be protecting you. A lot of people, they walk around with wounds from their childhood that people just don't know because they hide them so well. But a lot of us been damaged, man. All of us have been damaged in some way or the other. So, let God be the judge. Take accountability for what you did. And let God take care of who did whatever to you. Because if you try to execute justice and you overstep the line, the borderline, you actually accumulate karma. Because their sentence was supposed to be over. It's like the punishment don't fit the crime. And we don't have the behind the scenes to know exactly how much we have been wronged. Because like I said, broken people break people. These elders that pretend to have dementia, they're probably trying to hide from their maltreatment. So they could be trying to hide from what they did to you or what they did to us. But they could be also trying to hide from what was done to them. It's embarrassing. It's saddening. It's heartbreaking. You understand? So yeah. Look at this. So we got Anunnaki, female, and runaway. So Anunnaki is that in-between energy where you're not really demonic, but you're not really in your God energy either. It's like I could be either or, right? And to receive. So the feminine energy is to receive, to get what you want. I could be either or, but then you got run away and get a new name. Change your lifestyle. Okay? Change your lifestyle. You have an option when it comes to how you go about receiving things in life. Just because somebody taught you to do this and do that, it don't mean you need to continue to do it because you know it's bad. If you know it's bad, drop it. Ask God to show you the better way. Because there is a better way to do things. There is a right way and a wrong way. Ask God to show you the right way. So you can live grand without having to look over your shoulder or accumulate any bad karma or anything like that. You can live grand today, and the only stress that you'll be having is probably some haters from the outside. Maybe you having to study for long hours and shit like that. But later on, you'll be able to enjoy. You sow in tears, like they say, you will reap in joy. Because you didn't step on nobody to get where you're going. You actually worked hard. You applied yourself. Okay? So you can congratulate yourself. And the people around you who know your story, they will congratulate you. They will see you kept your hands clean. You kept your heart clean. You didn't step on nobody to get where you're going. You did it the right way. And so they will stand up to protect you because they saw you do it the right way. So anybody dare test what you've managed to achieve, they'll help you defend it. Shit, I saw how many hours they were up at night studying. I saw how many times they got it wrong until they finally learned how to get it right. I saw how embarrassed they were, but they never quit. I saw how people used to laugh at them thinking that they would never achieve what they're trying to achieve, and they never quit. So you back the fuck up off of them now. They deserve their flowers. They deserve their trophy. They deserve their money. They deserve their peace of mind. This is the future that we can create by making right choices. Instead of creating an environment where we're full of haters and people who want to get us back for what we did. Change. Run away from that negative energy and take on a new energy for yourself. One that's in light. One that's in the right. I'm coming. I have to go and feed my baby. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope that y'all found this very helpful. Okay. To Alain and Dominique and Melford and whoever else was there trying to intimidate me and encourage me to do bad things, I forgive you. I forgive you. I don't know what God's gonna do with you, but I have forgiven you. I'm not gonna hold it against you. I might mention your name a couple times because you're part of my story. You're part of my story. You made yourself part of my story, and you made yourself villains in my story. So I'm gonna mention your name for the sake of teaching lessons. But I ain't gonna hold no bad vibes against you. We were all manipulated. We were children. And they took advantage of our youth, and tried to change us into monsters. I was a victim and so were you. So the question is, what kind of future are we going to create? Right? So let's just go and be great. And when God is executing justice, let's be our karma like big men and big women and say, yeah, I deserve this. It's okay. But I think that I've already paid for my crime against Angela, to be honest with you. I don't think that these poisonings that's been continuing has anything to do with that. I think that I already suffered because of the fact that I was 4 years old. I'm not supposed to be suffering no big sentence like I was a grown up who knew better. You know what I'm saying? There was just a tiny voice inside of me that was telling me, don't do it because it's bad. And I didn't listen, but I was 4 years old. I didn't have the mental strength to be disciplined. I didn't have anybody in my life teaching me about being disciplined. So I think that a just judge would take all that into account and execute my sentence according to the information surrounding the case. So I already suffered for the wrong that I did to Angela. Clearly, by now. I think I've suffered my sentence several times if you want to look at how long they've been poisoning me. It's like overkill. But it just means that they have now committed crimes against me, and that's why I'm so powerful. Like, shit, I got the power now. You know, if I wanted to do something to y'all, I could, because you are doing too much. You know what I'm saying? But because I don't want to overstep my rights to issue karma, I'm gonna let God handle it, because God could do it so much better than me. And I get to do the fun part, like wear bracelets and make up clothes and show my belly and run my mouth and teach the people. I get to do the fun part. God can handle the dirty work. Shit, that's not my scene. Okay? I'm just gonna keep going about my business and trying to live my best life. I ain't trying to step on nobody's toes, and I'm not gonna allow nobody to step on mine. Period. So yeah, let's continue to go about life and just be great. Or try to. Shit. You will achieve more if you try. If you don't try, then you're definitely not gonna achieve any greatness. But if you try, you will. Even if it's a little bit. If you keep trying, you'll achieve more and more and more. You know? Follow the light. The light. The light. The light. Yeah. Let's show our elders who got it so wrong how to do it right. Let's teach them something. Let's learn them something. You know what I'm saying? They say, and a child shall lead the way. I need to find that scripture to see what the hell they were actually talking about. But yeah, the youth gonna lead the way, man. We doing new things. Until next time, darlings, take care of yourselves and each other, but not too much, cause perfection is boring. It's good to have some darkness in your life, because challenges give you a reason to live. It give your mind a reason to activate, you know. And when you finally conquer your challenges, it gives you a good vibe, like, oh, I'm smart. I'm smart. You want to pat yourself on the back and shit, like. Although we know that all wisdom comes from God, so it's not really our glory, it's what God had left in our reserve. So when you feel like your reserve cup is empty, that's when you pray for more wisdom, and then you can probably take at least 1% to the credit, unless God tell you to take 2, like me, or 3. Shit, God might decide to tell you, okay, you could take about 3% to the glory, because all glory and honor go to the Most High God, because it's God that equip us with the experiences for us to build up our database. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, there's so much to teach y'all, but we can't do it all in one day. It's almost 2 hours already, and I'm hungry. So we're gonna stop this one here, and I'm gonna love y'all and leave y'all. Until next time, my darlings. Take care.